Hi guys, and welcome back to Determined to Praise. I hope that you guys enjoyed last week's video. Hope that you guys are just enjoying all the videos that are on the page. Hope that you guys continue to like, share, subscribe, comment with any questions or concerns you may have about anything, maybe a specific topic. Um, so I hope that you guys are having a great week. Hope work and school and getting the kids ready is going better for you. I know it's getting a little bit better for me. Um, and so today I kind of wanted to talk about um, my walk with Christ. And I wrote down a couple of questions because for the month of October, I'm trying to interview a couple people and ask some questions. And so I'm going to ask them the same questions that I'm getting ready to answer now. But I felt like it would be really good just for people to have more of an understanding um, of God, and maybe if we can explain who He is to us and why we started believing in Him and walking with Him in the first place, maybe can just give people a little more clarity, a little more understanding, and maybe help them in their situations. So I pray that this really helps somebody, that somebody gets an understanding. And I also pray that if you guys have any questions, like any at all, um, that you just have, just please comment on this video so that I can answer the questions or have someone else answer the questions. You know, if anyone would like to be interviewed to be asked some questions for this page, please reach out to me as well. So the first question I have is, what made you come to God? Um, what made me come to God, and I said this in previous videos. I've been in church. I was in church my whole life. I grew up in church. Um, but I was going to church, but I never really understood. I always knew there's a God. You know, you should obey Him, and um, that was pretty much it. That you pray to Him. That was really all I actually understood growing up. It wasn't until I got older and went through some things and lost a child and a grandpa and was just really overwhelmed that I decided, okay, I need to go back to church. I need to go back to God because He's the only one that can help me with this. And even with doing that, I didn't really fully understand. I just knew I needed help, and there was no way I could go through what I was going through alone. And so I decided to go back to church. And it's crazy because my first day going back to the church, I've never been to the church that I went to, but it's the church I'm at now. But I've never been there before, and I went because my cousin kept, she kept inviting me, and I kept saying no. So I went after losing my son and my grandpa. I went to church, and it's like literally God met me right there. You know, they were preaching about exactly what I was going through, and it was just crazy. It was just like, what? And so that same day, I decided to get saved and join the church. So I did, and even with me doing that, my life, you know, everything didn't change all in an instant. I still was doing things I shouldn't have been doing, still sinning or whatever. Um, for a while, it wasn't until maybe about 2, 3 years in that I was really decided to run for God and do it correctly with my whole heart and really try my best to be who He called me to be. Um, the next question says, "What made you stay with God?" um, or you know, if you left and came back, because you know we all waver. Um, what made me leave God when I was in church as a child, what made me go was that I felt like people were too judgmental, um, and it made me feel uncomfortable. Which is, I'm sure, why a lot of people stop going to church or stop believing in God because of people and how people can be sometimes. How a lot of people in church can be very judgmental and make you feel embarrassed or ashamed of your flaws or your mistakes. And I want to say, don't allow people to dictate to you who God is. You know, um, God isn't. He doesn't look at us the same way people look at us, and He doesn't judge the same way people judge. So when we mess up and we make mistakes and we do something wrong, which every human being on this earth does, you go to God and you repent, you ask for forgiveness, and you just try to do better the next time. And majority of the time, even with repenting, we're going to do it again. It happens. I'm not saying that you should just go ahead and do whatever you want. I'm saying just try to be better each and every day. Just try to be better and try to be honest about how you feel and what you're doing. Because a lot of people run away from church because of other people, and I just want to say, ignore them. I know it's not fun or fair or even easy, but sometimes it's necessary to get to a place where God has called you, sometimes you just have to ignore people and what they're saying and just say, you know what, I'm not here for you, I'm here for God. Didn't come here to speak to you or for you to look at me and judge me and say something to me. I came here to hear from God. So that's for that. Um, but what made me come back was, like I said, was my child. What made me stay is seeing um, God actually come through for me. Because as I said also in previous videos, someone can sit here and explain to you all day long who God is and what He's done for them, but it'll never be something you fully understand until you build a relationship with Him, until you walk with Him, until you talk with Him, until you say, God, I really want to know you more, I really want to understand this, or, you know, God, give me wisdom, or God, show me who you are. It's not until He comes through for you that you can understand. And I mean, I'm sure he's came through for you already. It's just something that you haven't recognized. You know, the fact that we're alive and we're breathing right now is a blessing. That alone is a blessing. But sometimes we're just not grateful enough to pay attention to what God is doing in our lives. And sometimes we get so angry at the fact that He's not moving the way we want Him to move. And at the end of the day, it's His will, not ours. And we have to be mindful that He knows more and He knows all. So if He's pushing us in one direction, even though it may not feel right or look right, go with it, because God knows more than you do. He knows the outcome of every situation. So trust Him with where He's taking you and what He's telling you to do and where He's telling you to go. Um, but yeah, that's what made me stay with Him. I feel like such a different person. I mean, I have my days where I'm just like not being and not in the mood, but I know that God is with me, and as long as I trust Him and follow His will and follow His way, that everything will be all right. I don't have to worry or want for anything. Everything will fall into place perfectly, way better than I could have ever placed it. Um, the next question says, "How do you feel following God?" I feel blessed. I feel happy. I feel overwhelmed. There are some days where I just feel like what God has called me to do is too much, or what He's asking me to do now is too much, and I can't do it. And I have to remember that I'm not able to get things done through my strength. I'm able to get things done through God's strength. And so as long as I trust in Him to strengthen me, everything will be fine. But I feel great. I feel happy because I see God moving in my life and the great things He's doing for my family and for my children and for me. And I'm just really, really grateful, you know, that He loves me enough to still be there, even though I'm not always appreciative or grateful or as forgiving or loving as I should be towards other people for the things that He's done for me. Um, it says, "How did you feel when you weren't following God?" And so, what I can say is, when I was out in the world doing, you know, smoking, drinking, turning up, all that other stuff, um, I didn't feel like anything. I feel like a lot of moments I always wondered and guessed because, as I said, um, I was in church my whole life and I stopped going and I kind of branched off and did my own thing. And that was a couple, you know, that was plenty of years in between there before I lost my son and started going back to church. And so I always knew there was a God. I always prayed. That was something I always did. I always, you know, said my prayers or prayed for myself or for people around me. That was something I always did. And I always knew that there was a God. I just never understood the whole concept of everything. I never understood, you know, relationship and talking with Him and following His will. I always had some type of understanding. I just didn't understand the whole big picture. So now that I understand the whole big picture, it's like, wow, okay, things make so much sense and I get so much more clarity. And there's still some things I don't understand, some things I'm still confused about from time to time, but I understand the whole point of what we're doing and why we do this and why we trust in God and believe in Him. Um, who is God to you? To me, God is a friend. He's a father. He's a protector. He's just, it's, I really feel like there's no words to describe who He is. Because even, you know, when we look at our parents and we think our parents are so great, you know, some people have really, really great parents, right? To where they go, I love my parents. I can talk to them about anything, and they're so open minded that we can talk, and I can trust them, and I don't got to feel ashamed about anything I've done. We talk about everything, and they're so forgiving, and they give me advice, and I always feel so great after I leave. Like, and I don't know who has parents like that, but I know some people do have parents that are just understanding and open minded and allow that friendship of trust to be there to where you're a parent, but then your child also knows that they can be comfortable with talking to you about anything that's going on in their lives. And so that's how I would describe God. I would say He's a friend. He's a father. He's a person that you can sit and talk to about anything. And he has the best advice. He has the best opinion. He has um, the best intentions for your life. And he sees you with such beauty and such greatness because we are his creations. He sees us and he sees love. No one can, no one sees you better than how God sees you. His version of us, his love for us is way more than we could ever imagine. Is way more than any human being could ever possibly give us. Um, so it makes me happy to know that there's a God, there's a person that looks over us, that watches us, that loves us, that's nurturing, that cares about us and our needs, and wants to be there, wants to provide, and wants to fulfill everything, wants to give us the desires of our heart. It's a really amazing feeling. It's just, I don't know, something I feel like you just can't describe sometimes in actual words. Um, what has changed about you? A lot has changed about me. I have so much more understanding, and not just for God, but for people. There's so many times I might look at a person and go, "Oh my gosh, they're so stupid. That was real dumb." But, or why do they do this? Why would they do that? Why would they do this? Like that. What's wrong with people? Don't Do they not think? Do they not care? And God has given me the ability to understand that we look at people and we judge people and we make assumptions of what they should do based off of what we would do, right? But we got to remember that everybody's different. Everybody's reaction to things are different. Everyone's response is different. Everybody's response to trauma is different. So we can't say what people should do because we won't even know what we would do. We can say, I would do this, but you never know until you're actually put in that situation. And, we judge people and make assumptions off of their lives. And we never know what people are going through or what's going through their mind or how they feel. Sometimes they're more embarrassed that they did that thing or that they went through that to a point where now they're, acting out because they're just too ashamed of what they did. But we've all been there. We've all done something we're ashamed of or embarrassed of. We've all been somewhere where we didn't want someone to judge us or look at us any kind of way for something that we did. We've all been there. So I feel like if God can love us, if God can forgive us, then we should be able to do the same for others. And no, I'm not saying it's going to be easy because it's definitely not. There's a lot of people who we out here, we like, no, they don't deserve it. They don't deserve it. But who are we to say what people do and don't deserve? Because if God treated us the way we treat other human beings, where would we be? What would we do? Like, it just wouldn't work. So I feel like, we should try to be more like Christ. We should try to be more like God, be more loving and more forgiving, and just not think about other people and their opinions of what they think we should do or how they think we should respond to things. If you want to forgive a person, forgive. If you want to love a person, love them. Don't worry about what everyone else out here is saying, about you, or about, oh, how dumb you may look for being nice to somebody who we feel may as though they deserve our niceness. So what? It's about doing God's will, and it's about just having a heart like his. And so it's about putting your pride to the side and putting your feelings to the side, and sometimes just doing what's right, even if you don't feel like it, or even though it may not look right to other people, or they may whisper about you, talk about you. It's fine. We're here at the end of the day to do God's will and to do what he called us to do. Um, and the last question is, what's your favorite thing about God? So my favorite thing about God is his love, his heart. Um, just the fact that he loves us so much that he's willing to forgive over and over again, that he's willing to protect us, that he's willing to provide for us, that he's willing to be there for us, even if we didn't deserve it, even if we put ourselves into a mess and we dug ourselves into a hole, he's still there to rescue us. Even though we did it to ourselves, he still is there. He still is able to help. He still is able to love, and to know that God is capable of doing anything beyond what you could ever imagine. That's just amazing to me, that he's so powerful, so mighty, that he can do all things. You don't have to limit yourself to what you ask for or what you want or what you desire. There's nothing impossible for him. He can do anything that anything. Like, use your imagination. Like, he always says, think bigger than what we're actually. He's always thinking bigger than what we're actually thinking. So we're thinking, ooh, I want this house with this 3 bedroom. Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's what I want. With a nice simple garden. He's thinking, go bigger. Go bigger. Go get that over there. It's just always more, always more. than what we could ever imagine. And so I think that's truly amazing. Um, so those are my questions that, like I said, I'm going to ask everyone else. Hopefully I get a couple people to come and be interviewed and ask some questions. I pray that this video helps maybe give somebody understanding, some clarity, and if you have your own questions, things that you want me to answer, or, like I said, I can have other people answer the questions, or if you would like to be interviewed, if you have your own questions that you would like to answer, it doesn't matter. The whole point of these videos is to just help people, to give them an understanding of God, to give them encouragement, to let them know it's okay to mess up and fall short. It's okay to want to quit, because we all do. Just get up and keep trying. And I'm here right with you. I'm pushing and chugging along, because Anasia don't always feel like getting up and doing what got to be done, but someone has to do it. We got to, it's a will. There's things, there's a calling, there's people who need us. And so we got to get up and we got to keep moving and we got to keep pushing and we got to reach out and help people and encourage people and give people the word and let them know that there's a God and He loves you and He's here with you and that we're not by ourselves and we're not alone. So I pray that this video has helped somebody. I pray that someone's encouraged, someone is strengthened from this. And I just hope that you guys continue to like, share, subscribe. Please, please, please comment, inbox me on Facebook, or you can always email me. You can comment on the videos. I will post my email in the link below. Pray that you guys have a great day. Continue to stay encouraged. Continue to keep pushing. Keep trusting in God. And I pray that you guys have a great week. Bye.